What's the heart of the matter? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 7 of our free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. Today we're going to talk about what the heart of the matter is and what the heart of you is when it comes to dealing with change, dealing with challenges, dealing with anything in our life that happens or comes our way. So we want to pay attention to something called core values. The heart of the matter, a lot of us think of our heart as our core. It's what you can argue. It could be your mind, it could be your consciousness, whatever. But a lot of times our heart is the core of the most important part of our body. If we didn't have our heart, okay, yeah, our brain is important too. But if we didn't have our heart, we would die. If we didn't have our brain, we would die as well. But we don't really make decisions or choices in our life with our head. We like to convince ourselves, so we make rational, logical decisions. But human beings, we make all of our choices, all of our decisions based on how we feel about things, our emotions, and the emotions we want to move toward or the emotions we want to move away from. And you can do a ton of research on that. You can study that. You can look into it. But the truth is, as rational and as advanced and as intellectual as we like to convince ourselves we are sometimes, or some of us care or don't care, the truth is we are emotional beings. And we're going to talk about that on and off throughout the rest of the challenge. But today, what I want you to think about and get in touch with is what is really important to you. We asked a few days ago, what do you want? But what do you want is only a piece of what at your gut level do you really, really want and desire. And core values are the things that are important to us. Now, I've got a process that I'll share in a minute of, and I forgot to set my egg timer. Shame on me. So I don't talk too much. Let's set that. We'll take a minute off. What's really important to us? I've got a process that you can use to identify that. But let's talk about core values. What the heck are core values? They are the fundamental beliefs that we have about a person or a place or a thing or ourselves, what we're capable of, what's most important to us. You can have organizational core values. We all have personal core values. It helps us to decide. It helps us to make decisions, really. And it helps, core values help us to determine what's right or wrong. Because guess what? What's right or wrong for me might not be right or wrong for someone else. My sister might have a different opinion of what's right and okay and acceptable behavior that's different than what I would consider as right or okay or acceptable behavior. And just on certain topics, right? We all have opinions and varying degrees of definition of everything. So how do we get clear on this? And I'm going to jump ahead and tell you what our assignment's going to be today. Our tool, of course, is core values, but what we're going to do and then what I want you to share for your action item so that if I go too long, I don't get cut off and forget to get to that. So number 1, we're going to talk about our core values. I'm going to give you some examples of core values and a process that you can use to identify your core values if you've never done this before or if you're not clear on what's really important to you. Now, I've done this a lot of times and I still struggle with really clearly identifying my core values. What we're going to do today, our action item, is to share the number 1 core value that you find shows up for you. Now, what I did and started doing as part of this challenge, instead of just having 1 core value, I allow myself to pick 1 per area. So, for example, last challenge in April, this is what my core values were for each area. So physical, it was well-being. Mental, it was continuous improvement. Emotional, it was gratitude. Spiritual, it was that we're all connected, all one, and it's important to be myself, be me. For financial, it was abundance. For relationships, it was love. For contribution, it was to give value, provide value to other people in the world. For communication, I put listen, understand, and clarify, which is going to get some work this time. And then for confidence, I put just, confidence, to be confident, to improve my confidence. And so confident was the word I picked. So I actually cheat and put 1 for each one as I'm doing this exercise. Because as I read, I'll share some of a list of some of the possible things that you could have as on your list of core values. And then when we want to boil that all down to 1, mine always boils down to love or some kind of continuous improvement and growth and becoming and being myself. So that gives you an idea, but I do that because there's so many different possibilities for core beliefs. And let's talk about the process, then I'll list off a bunch of examples until I run out of time. So what's a process that you can use to get in touch with your core beliefs, what's really important to you. Well, number one, write down your values. Write down things that are important to you. Is it freedom? Is it integrity? Is it honesty? Is it trustworthiness? Is it love? Is it awesome relationships? Is it great communication skills? Whatever it is for you. Is it adventure? Is it excitement? Is it curiosity? Is it respect? Is it whatever is important to you? Hey, it's really important that people respect me. Or hey, it's really important that I clearly communicate what I'm trying to communicate. That's why I'm working on that this year, so I get better and better and better at it, so people really understand what it is that I'm trying to share. Then step two, consider people that you admire and role models. What are some of the things that they demonstrate that you're attracted to? Number three, consider your experiences. What experiences have you had that have helped you to understand or see what things are important to you? Maybe honesty and integrity is really important to you, and you've been involved with people that were honest and dishonest, and you didn't like the way it felt when people were dishonest with you, and you love the way it feels when people are honest with you. So honesty is a big one for you. Number four, categorize your values and put them in groups. Group them into like things, because a lot of times you'll see different things coming up, and they're really different words that describe a very similar feeling in you. Number five, identify the central themes. So you're going to look for themes. I guess I combined those. Number six, choose your top core values. What are your top? And you pick the number. Do you want your top 10? I picked 9 because I put one for each area, because it was easier for me to pick 9 than boil it down to 1. And then as I go through the 9 and I look at those things, well, what's the common thread through each of the core areas of my life, or the 9 life framework areas of my life that we're discussing during the challenge? What's the theme there? And then that was it. Six steps. So just identify your core ones. And then what I like to do is, on my birthday every year, I do what I call an annual integrity review. And I sit down and I think about my core values, and I just review the past 12 months of my life, and I say, well, how much have I been living in accordance with the things that I say are my core values? Have I been exhibiting love in different areas and aspects of my life? Have I been continually improving? Have I been having great experiences, etc.? Whatever they are, I will do the annual review and ask myself and kind of check up on myself to see how I'm doing. So what are some examples of core values? These are just a couple of people's lists that I pulled off the internet. I do not agree or disagree with these. They just are to give you ideas of what are different core values. Number one, hope, service, responsibility, faith, honor, trust, freedom, and honesty. Number two, service, social justice, dignity, and worth of a person, importance of human relationships, integrity, and competence. Number three, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, honor, personal courage. It sounds like somebody in the military to me. I think this is number four, integrity and ethics, respect, innovation, not imitation, and then drive. And then five, dependability, reliability, loyalty, commitment, open-mindedness, consistency, honesty, efficiency, optimism, positivity. And then the next one is freedom, kindness, golden rule, 100% personal responsibility, and continuous improvement. So those are just examples of other people's that they've shared with me. So what are some, and if you're struggling with, well, what are core values, just Google core values and you'll get lists and lists and lists. I've got a huge list of core values here I was going to read to you, but I think we are short on time. But you can get an alphabetical list online, and there are literally hundreds of different words to describe the values and the things that are important to us. So what are we going to do? Ask ourselves what our core values are. If you want to be like me, identify one for each of the 9 areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence. Pick one for each of those, and then look at that for the themes and the core, and to get down to one core value, and then share in the comments below your one core value. Questions about this, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow, and we're going to move into change reaction. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.